Fifth graders, today you learned about the artist M.C. Escher and his tessellation drawings. Today you're going to be starting your own tessellation drawing by making a tessellation shape. So at the drive-thru you're going to need a few things: that drawing paper, a perfect square, and a piece of masking tape that's no longer than your pointer finger. My first step to make my tessellation shape is to start in the top left-hand corner and write A, B, bottom left-hand corner, write C, and then D. These directions are also going to be up on the smart board, so if you forget, please look up there. With my ruler, that I also need to grab from the drive-thru, I'm going to measure halfway in each of these shapes. Now my perfect square is 3 by 3 inches tall and long, so 1.5 is the mark that I'm looking for. On each side, I'm going to draw a little dash at 1.5 inches. That little dash there is going to be my guide. So my next step is, starting at the dash between A and B, I'm drawing a curve. And that curve is going to end just above that dash to the right. So I start in the middle and draw a curve that goes just above that dash in the middle on the right. My next step is, I need to draw a straight line or another curved line from the middle, just above, to the middle between C and D. So drawing just below to right in the middle, a curved line. With the scissors, I am going to cut those two curves. Okay? Shape B, and corner D. All right, B is going to go right next to A. D is going to go right next to C. With my piece of tape, I'm going to connect those lines. So A and B are next to each other, and D and C are next to each other. If you're having a lot of trouble drawing out this tessellation or creating this tessellation, please ask your neighbor and they might be able to help you a little bit better. Now, one last part. At the very bottom, between D and C, I'm going to draw a triangle, and I'm going to try to have it be right in the middle. So if I had 1.5 being the middle, I'm going to line up my ruler. I need my line to go to 1 and 2 inch. Okay? So starting at 1 inch, drawing a line up, starting at 2 inch, drawing a line up. I'm going to cut that triangle out. All right, D and C are going to come up to the top, so they are right next to A and B. One more piece of tape. Here is my tessellation shape. I'm ready to trace. Okay. To begin tracing, I'm going to line up that corner or that right edge with the very corner of my paper. And I'm going to trace very lightly so that if I make a mistake, I can erase pretty easily. But also because I know that I'm going to need to Sharpie all of these pencil lines. Holding my tessellation shape as still as I can. Okay, I've gone all the way around. My fish is just going to move forward so that the back tail lines up with the front nose. To me, this kind of looks like a dory fish. I'm going to trace again. My fish is going to move forward one. I'm going to line up that bottom edge so it's nice and straight. I'm going to line up the tail and the nose and trace again. And one last time. Now part of my fish here is going to get cropped off, and that's okay, but I still want to see part of that shape. Alright, now up above, I'm going to do that same thing, but I'm going to have my fish line up with the top fin this time. That's where I start and trace around. As I begin to trace and line things up, I have less lines to draw. So lining up the top fin with the bottom fin, the nose with the tail, I only need to trace the top and the nose. My fish is going to swim all the way across and all the way across the top until I have the whole paper filled with this tessellation shape. My next step is to go to each fish and plan how they're going to look. You might plan with a pattern. You might start to plan each fish individually. A plan that I started to create here was a fish that had scales and then a fish that was a little bit more geometric. I might do a fish that has scales and then a fish that's a little bit more geometric on my next one. You can create any kinds of fish that you would like, but remember, I'm drawing light until I get it right because I know I'm going to have to come back and Sharpie all these lines. Now you guys learned with Zentangles that if your pattern is really complicated and you have it down, you know what you're doing, maybe you want to just jump to Sharpie right away. You guys know enough about Zentangles now that you can do that. Alright, 5th grade, if this is really tricky for you, you are looking up on the board, you are asking a neighbor, and then raise a hand and I can come and help you. I'm so excited to see these fish tessellations.